Welcome back to Let's Play the Capo 2. I realized that I'd only had enough freaking recording for one part there. What the hell? I can never tell how much long I record for until I actually go to stop the recording. Let's go here. Well, it's lunchtime. Coco isn't here and I don't see Watara around either. Maybe I'll eat with Otone. I headed to the student council room with the bread I bought at the store. Why did they show him go into the classroom before he went to the student council room? I'm guessing this is her theme music then? Oh, you brought lunch too, Mayuki-senpai.
まあね、もちろん手作り。まゆきって実は料理上手なんだよね。
Oh, really?
当たり前じゃん。弟くんも食べてみる？
She held out a piece of sweet fried egg. Thank you. I tasted the delicate sweetness when I put it into my mouth. The inside was half done and it melted in my mouth. Yummy. Actually, I didn't expect that.
素直でよろしい。
Mayuki-senpai smiled happily.
私のも食べていいんだよ。
Just like, how dare you enjoy someone else's cooking, you son of a bitch! She shoved some of her food into my mouth. Imagine it's in our comedic way.
感想は？
There's those eyes again. I don't know yet. Why is she being so competitive? Both her and Yume, those two sisters became competitive so easily. She stared at me. It's tasty, of course. Another Facebook notification. I bet it's about that damn cat. Our kitten lately has been a right little bastard. Just like acting like it owns the place. We've got two other cats and he's just like... One of the two cats can't stand the kitten. The other cat has grown a bit more tolerable, but today is like... Just like, you little bastard. Even that cat is just like annoyed with it. And then there's the two dogs. And just like... Freaking kitten just like walks right up to him like it's just like, ha! What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Just trolls him just like, that cat is such a little bastard. Well, so I'll just check that a moment. Yep, it was to do with the kitten. Provoking our biggest dog just like, man, that kitten's got some balls. If like we let this cat out into the, outside the house, I don't know if it would be able to survive, honestly. With that kind of ballsiness, just like... Sure, our other cats can tolerate the kitten to an extent, and our dogs as well. But all it would need to do is piss off the wrong cat or dog or anything, and it would be fucked. Little reckless little bitch. Well, anyways. It's tasty. I was being honest. Besides, how could your food be bad?
そうかな。
Otone became bashful.
はいはい、ごちそうさま。
Mayuki-senpai mumbled in surprise.
弟くんも料理上手なんだよね。
The kitten looks like it... No. Looked like it was about to jump onto the bed and probably hit a bunch of keys.
ほーん。夜ご飯とか一緒に作るもんね。
Well, I like to cook.
じゃああれだね。将来弟くんと結婚する人はラッキーだね。家事とかいろいろやってくれて。結婚？
Otone jumped in response.
あ、でもあれか。口うるさい小獣がいるからプラマイゼロか。口うるさくなんてないよ。
Otone objected, but I could totally picture her being excessively demanding. There's someone else who is troublesome at my house. Yes, this kitten.
いろいろと先行きが大変だね。
She patted me on the shoulder. Her eyes were full of compassion.
あ、私は別に口出ししたりしないよ。弟くんにちゃんとふさわしい人が見つかれば。乙女のメガネにかなう人ね。この地球上に果たしていることやら。
Someone Otone approves of. Let's see, girls I know are Coco, Anzu, Akane, and Nanaka. I guess Amikaze too. Don't you know more girls than that? But obviously you just listen to just like... Well, actually, I don't think Akane even has a route in this version. Should I count Yume too?
何？弟くん、めぼしい女の子でもいるの？
No, I don't. Otone's firm voice made me reply instinctively.
私は一人だけ心当たりがあるけどさ。え、誰？内緒。Goofy
faces. Then Otone glared at me as if she was asking me who Mayuki was talking about. No, I don't know either. Mayuki senpai grinned.
まあ、それは置いといて。弟くん。
Yes.
明日お弁当作ってきたよ。
は？
何言ってるのよ、まゆき。違うって。ここに料理が得意な人間が3人集まってます。
Let's have a cook-off.
ってことで、せっかくだから料理対決しない？
Holy shit, they actually are serious about that. I was just joking, but all the time it was like, whenever I just jokingly say something, the character says the exact same thing right after. It's like, I was just joking, man. Ah, I see. It was an idea that only an athlete like Mayuki-senpai could come up with. It sounded more fun than just eating lunch normally.
乙女はどう？
But who would be the
私は
judge?
どうせお弁当だから別にいいけど。じゃあ、弟くんは？
I'm in, let's do this. Sure, I'll be glad to.
お、強気だね。
Mayuki-senpai smiled happily. That kitten is trying to escape the room, but I'm under orders to keep you sealed in this room because you keep trolling the other cats. Mayuki-senpai smiled happily. She became happy whenever winning or losing got involved. What are the rules?
特になし。自分が一番得意なものを用意する。
It's a head-to-head battle, huh?
まあね。勝負はやっぱりガチンコじゃなきゃ。
Mayuki-senpai was full of confidence. I wonder if the kitten can be heard in the back like meow, 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 meow. Her sweet fried eggs familiar told me that she was a great cook.
よくわかんないけど、いつもよりも豪華なお弁当を作ればいいのね。
You know that meowing better not be just like, I need to go to the toilet, meow, meow, meow. And I don't realize it until it happens. It's like, no! Hey, you little shit, that's my foot. Otone is a great cook too. However, it'd be really frustrating if I lost. What should I make? I thought that was going to be a choice there. The lunch break ended while I thought about it. Well, the curry went over well. I'm tired, it's cold outside, but warm inside because of the heater. I'm so sleepy. Isn't the script ready yet? I looked around the classroom. We were practicing for the puppet show, but some people started sword fighting with the stage materials. Some were chit-chatting. Some girls were putting on makeup, some guys were reading magazines. Why are they putting on makeup randomly? This isn't a rehearsal for the puppet show. No wonder.
これって、ここがこうなって。
Anzu, who was working on the script, was in a deadlock as well as Coco, who was composing the music. So what are you actually doing? Have you like got a keyboard out or something? In other words, Anzu, the director, was too busy writing, and Coco, the actress who should be a good example for others, was battling with the music. Who would practice seriously? I wasn't sure about the music, and the kitten tried to leap onto the laptop. But didn't she have most of it done already? Well, even if she had it all roughed out, maybe it was different when she started to write, so I guess that's how it is, but I can't write music worth shit. Like, every time I try to write a song, like, I could write lyrics, and then I just be like, okay, I've got... This is usually just with guitar, really, though. I just be like playing a good riff and just like, okay, now let's tab this shit out, and it's like, oh, it's such a chore, man. so it takes forever to write it rather than play it. I don't quite get it.
すげえぜこのおっぱい
Wataru was getting excited over a swimsuit catalog. Tsukunami was nowhere to be found. I bet he's somewhere plotting something like, I'm still plotting whatever it is I'm plotting, even I don't know. Arcane was the only one working hard.
真面目にやってよ
It even looks like a face that Komori from Little Busters would make, honestly. She was crossing her hands as she bounced her Vulpera's boobs. Why is it always boobs when it comes to you? At times like this, the class president usually straightened things out. She didn't seem to care about what was going on, but simply sat there reading. Good grief, this wasn't anything unusual for our class, but couldn't we just unite and work on this one thing? You're asking the entire class to unite on one thing. That's impossible.
見て吉行この子
Wataru held out his book to me. I saw a delicate young girl in a white camisole, standing there with her nipples erect. She's cute, but this whole part is probably gonna be summed up with boobs or cooking contest or something.
な
Whoa!
どけない顔でこの格好は反則だよな胸もでかいし
The kitten just leapt up right there. Okay, I'll let you out. Fine. I have not been given... Wait, no. If you stop meowing again, I shall let you out. Even though I have not been given orders to do so. I couldn't believe he was reading that type of thing openly in the classroom, but I wasn't going to say anything. The cat is attacking my microphone. He was already off in his own delusional world. Did I say words? I decided to walk around the classroom. Anzu was sitting expressionlessly with a blank sheet of writing paper in front of her. How's it going? Anzu, ow! The cat is biting my hand. The cat is biting my hand. Ow!
子供に甘いものを食べさせるのは子供の発育にとってもいいことだって知ってる
The cat! It's sleeping at my hand! What a little shit! Ow! Huh?
甘いもの特に砂糖は子供の脳の発達にとても役に立つからなの
Is that right?
甘いもの
Stop it, kitty! Stop trying to be like freaking... Why? Eh? Like a meerkat or something.
バケツぐらいの大きさのプリンとかチョコレートの船盛りとか
Calm down, Anzu. Anzu's brain was lacking calories and it was going wild. It was hard to tell because her face was deadpanned. I could have popped out some Japanese sweets, but we were in class. I searched my uniform pockets. I think I put a sweet candy in my pocket instead of the fruit drop I meant to. Ah, here it is. I don't have a bucket-sized pudding, but I have some candy. So what? They're like some of the... It's like, first we have a girl that runs on bananas, that's actually a robot, and now you run on sweets, or something. I put the candy on the blank writing paper. It was a strawberry milk candy.
いいの
Sure, if the class president says something, just tell her it's for your throat.
ありがとう
Reminds me of Gintama with all this talk about, like, street sweets and all that. And I think his favorite was, like, strawberry milk or something like that. I can't remember. I haven't really watched Gintama in a while. Bad internet connection, you know, I just can't be arsed. Anzu muttered as her cheeks flushed. I just hoped that candy would help her make progress on her writing. Next was Coco. She was scratching her head and still battling with the sheet music. How's it going?
ああ吉行
I can't write sheet music. You know, honestly, what I'd like to do when it comes to, you know, like making a track on the keyboard is probably like make it into a media file so I'd always be able to look at it again and remember how to play it. rather than just like improvise and never be able to play it properly ever again, you know? If that makes any sense. She put her face on the desk and sniffled. You can do it, you've only got a little more to do, right?
その後少しが
She looked at me with dewy eyes. Even if you look at me like that, I won't be able to come up with an idea.
はあ、音楽っていつも聴いてるけど、いざ作るとなると大変だね。
Don't you write the music you play with the Light Music Club?
あれはほとんどコピーだし、作ったっていうのは渡るくんと一緒にやってるバンドの。
After saying that bit, Coco stood up.
そっか、あれは好きなメロディーとか好きな音楽のイメージで作ったから作曲できたんだ。じゃあ、この劇の音楽だって。
Hello?
よしゆき、ありがとう。
For what?
そうだよ。特別人形劇だからって意識しすぎてたんだ、私。よーし。
Coco started putting down notes on the blank music paper. I didn't know quite what was going on, but she appeared to be on a roll. Good. After that, I stopped the students who were having sword fights and asked them to help with a cane. Wataru started to help out as well. Okay, let's connect these and make a frame for the stage. Okay. What's going on with the puppets? They aren't done yet, but they should be done by a day after tomorrow. Okay, be sure to check with Anzu as you make progress, okay? Okay.
おお、すげえよ、よしゆき。
Have the voice act multiple characters because we couldn't be asked to have one of the other voice actors voice those characters. What?
よしゆきが動けばみんなも動くってか？
What are you talking about? Why don't you go help the set crew?
了解。
ありがとね、よしゆきくん。
Kane walked up to me with an exhausted smile. I'll mention it, we don't have time.
そうなんだよ。あずちゃん、頑張ってよね。
She'll be okay. Anzu still sat expressionless with the candy in her cheek, but she was pondering something, I think. Before long the bell rang. The day was over. The class president stood at the podium and spoke.
この後は各自残って催し物の作業を進めてください。雪村さんは脚本できたの？まだ。月島さんは？もう少し。
The class president let out a huge fake sigh. That made Coco wilfer. Anzu didn't seem to be bothered by it, but I was certain she could feel the pressure.
じゃあ、解散。
The class president said coldly and started getting ready to go home.
ココちゃん、どこ行くの？
When I looked, I saw Coco leaving the classroom with the music
音
papers.
楽室。いいフレーズが思いついたの。そうなんだ。頑張って。
You know, I would totally like to, like, completely different. If I was, like, in charge of the music, I really would just, like, play some improv kind of stuff and make it into a melody kind of thing. Just make it work for each scene, and then just be like, yep, that's done. Just like, he didn't write any music, he just played it. Just like, well, yeah. At least it's not as time consuming as if I actually wrote it note for note. Just be a pain in the ass.
図書館に行ってくる。
Besides, I wouldn't even know how to do that. I can't read sheet music, so how the hell would I be able to write it? If it was like tab, like if it was like doing things with a guitar and all that, maybe, and that would be incredibly time consuming, but yeah, I could potentially do that. But it's so damn time consuming. Anzu stood up with her bag.
そうなんだ。私も一緒に行こうか？
So I guess it makes sense why it's so troublesome for Coco to do that, I suppose.
大丈夫。悪いんだけど、あかね、進行のレポートをお願い。それは任せておいて。
Kane's reassuring words made Anzu relax a little bit. Come on everybody, we can do it. Let's see, what should I do? You Each time we get these choices, it's always the three same characters, isn't it? And we usually either go with Coco or Otone. Let's change for a while. Let's actually see Anzu. Why not? The library was very quiet, but it wasn't empty. There were mostly seniors there studying for the entrance exams for all schools, but there were also a few students simply reading. What? Where is Anzu? I saw Anzu sitting amongst those students who were studying. She had a notebook open and she was writing something down. I bet she's working on the rest of the script for the puppet show. Because Anzu was great at memorization, writing something down was never part of her image, so it was an unusual sight to see. Yo! Anzu looked up. Can I sit next to you? Anzu nodded silently and went back to her notebook. How's it going?
図書館では静かに。
Sorry, so are you making progress? I whispered quietly.
まあ、ぼちぼちね。
Little by little, huh?
何しに来たの？用もないのに図書館に来たりして。
Because I just thought, why not? Literally, that's the only reason. Yeah, you're right. I got up and went to the bookshelf. Is this good? I picked up a hardcover novel and went back to the seat.
呆れた。
I've been wanting to read this book for ages. I've kept meaning to for years. That wasn't a lie. Someone recommended it to me, and I was curious about this detective novel.
そういうのは読みたいとは言わない。
Who cares? I started to read the book.
それ、犯人は牧本よ。
I hadn't even gotten to the instant yet. I sighed as I closed the book, just like, damn it! Spoilers, damn it!
読まなくていいの？
Anzu smiled maliciously. I'll pick it up when I forget about it.
羨ましい。
What?
なんでもない。
Obviously, she's referring to being able to forget things, obviously. By the way, how's it going?
正直、詰まってる。
She has, like, really good memory, and, having really good memory isn't exactly completely a good thing, because that means you can remember, like, horrible things that happen as well. Like, you could have a really shitty day, just like, I never want to remember this day again, but it'll be in your memory forever, and you'll be able to recall it in great detail, I'd imagine, and it would suck. Didn't you have a plot? In fact, that's kind of simple with me. I have shit memory, but I usually can remember a lot of the crappier things in life.
大枠ではね。でも、実際に書いてみるとね。なんか、どういう展開にしても既存の作品と似ちゃう気がして。
Well, that's kind of the thing, really. It's kind of hard to write a story that's not similar to another one. But if you say that, you can't write anything. What did you do in the acting club?
私、演劇部では脚本書いてないもの。
Oh, you don't?
あっちは役者と演出だけ。ほら、私セリフ覚えるの得意だし。
But you work with a lot of play scripts, right?
ええ。だから簡単に書けるかと思ってたんだけど。私、創作には向かないのかも。
Anzu muttered and let out a sigh. Don't say that. The first half is very interesting, I think. I gave her my honest opinion. There's no way I could write a story no matter what. I can, it's just I'm really lazy. I mean, I added to that story I've been working on for a long-ass time a while back. I was actually able to write pretty well. Like, whenever I write a scene where, like, it's basically, like, a kind of horror one, and, like, okay, so you got this ghost. I don't even know how to really this. As I've said before, when it comes to like coming up with story, I can like think of a story, even write a story, but when it comes to, explaining a story, just mine just goes bleh. So basically like scenes where like say like this ghost is attacking and the protagonist is trying to like dodge and escape, I can make scenes like that quite intense. And like I just recently like when I last wrote for Introduce the Villain, just like had an interesting line to describe itself. Because basically the antagonist is, I don't know really how to describe it really. It's pretty much more or less a shadow. It's like it has no physical form and it's also a bit of a shapeshifter. Any soul that it takes, it can like take on the form of them and control their souls. Kind of, yeah, shapeshifter pretty much with no original form. And basically like his second line in the entire thing sounds a lot like a riddle. It was basically, and when I looked at it, it's like, wow, did I really just write that? That actually has a nice sound to it. I am nothing and yet something. I am here, there, and yet nowhere. That's how it described itself. Just like, that actually has a riddle-ish sound to it. You could, in a way, could that actually be a shadow? Like the answer to that. And then maybe air could also be like that, I don't know. There I go again, my mind's just blanking out. But anyways.
お話っていうのはね、書き始めることは誰にでもできるの。
Oops. That's a bit extreme.
まあ、これも誰かの受け売りなんだけどね。
Anzu let out another sigh.
借り物のアイディア、借り物の言葉。すべてが借り物。
I didn't quite understand the suffering Anzu was going through. Because she can memorize so well, she couldn't digest what she read as her own words. Is that what she meant? Even if she had a talent for writing, her knowledge interfered, and that's why she couldn't write. That must be true suffering. Hey, don't get pressed over something like this. The whole of human history is long, so everything is borrowed if you make a strong enough case, don't you think? I started to speak at a normal volume without noticing, and everyone looked at me. I bowed and then lowered my voice again. It doesn't matter what someone did before, it's more important to look at what you really want to write, isn't it?
そうなんだけどね。
Anzu protested.
まあ、もうちょっと書き進めてみる。
Good luck.
ありがとう。
Anzu nodded, picked up a pen, and faced the notebook. I reopened the book and started to read. Have you already forgotten then?
ね
Anzu spoke suddenly.
え、このお話には男の子と女の子が出てくるんだけどさ。
Yeah, blind boy Eto and a girl Santa. Charles, right?
ねえ、その二人の結末なんだけどね。
Wait, is there a female Santa that's called Charles? What? Yeah. Their ending. I assumed it would be something like and they lived happily ever after type ending.
今、結末をどうするかちょっと迷ってて。
What do you mean?
二人は結ばれるべきか、離れ離れになるべきか。
Just like, shall we go with the happily ever after type ending or the tragic, just like can't be together ending? Which should it be? Separated, of course they should be together. It's supposed to be a romantic fairy tale puppet show, right?
童話って必ずしも結ばれてめでたしめでたしってわけじゃないでしょ。
Yeah, I guess you're right. I was thinking based only on my preconceived notions, but some fairy tales did conclude with main characters being tragically separated. Those were actually emotional stories too. When I looked at it that way, fairy tales were deep.
そもそも17世紀シャルル・ペローが童話集を出した頃は
You can skip the history lesson. I stopped Anzu in a hurry because she almost started giving me the complete history of fairy tales. Hey, why not? It should sound interesting.
そう？
I'm sure. Please continue with the story.
うん。
Anzu shrugged her shoulders disappointedly and resumed with the story.
二人が結ばれて終わるっていうのは悪くないと思うんだけどね。なんていうか、安直っていうか、ご都合主義的すぎないかなって。
Yeah, it's kind of a conflicting thing, really, isn't it? If you end with a happy ending, people just be like, oh, how cliche. End with a sad ending. It's like, you bastards, how could you? Why did you do that to these characters? Yeah, I guess you're right.
二人は別れ別れになったけど、二人がお互いを思いやる気持ちは永遠でした方が 綺麗にまとまりそうな気もするんだよね。
Tragic kind of things like that seem more realistic though, really, isn't it? Like sometimes when it ends a happy ending, they kind of have to go a bit out of the way to be and it just ends up being a bit unrealistic because it's just like they have to like adjust things just makes it kind of, yeah. I see. Although you can have a happy ending that ends realistically, it's just sometimes they tend to like have to kind of like add something that just seems unrealistic into the story. After hearing her opinion, I thought a tragic ending didn't sound so bad. I actually preferred movies with resonance rather than a cheap happy ending. Either way, it's an ordinary ending, but I guess it depends on how it's played. You know, honestly, I prefer happy endings, but I don't like happy endings that end in a kind of stupidish way, really. But I prefer happy endings to tragic endings, because then I just feel depressed.
ねえ、ヨシユキはどっちがいいと思う？
Anzu shook her head and then restated the question.
ヨシユキが書くとしたらどうする？
Let's see, I would... God damn it, really? Well, in this case, it does seem like it'd be like more interesting if they were separated. It just seems weird story overall. If I was the one writing it, I guess I'd end up with them being separated.
どうして？
Anzu tilted her head. I think it would be more beautiful. It shows the bad's feelings more clearly, and I think it would leave the audience with a more lasting impression.
なるほどね。
Even though I said that, I didn't know if I was talented enough to really end the show with a lasting impression. I would need to be careful to avoid creating an ending with a bad aftertaste instead of the lasting impression I intended. Yeah, that's one thing you should really be careful with when writing a story, is ending it in a shitty way. Just like, in a way where it just feels rushed, for example. Say you just like have it deliberately bad, rather than, you know, in a way that's just like, I don't know how to describe it really, but if you end like an ending just like, and then they all died, and it's just abrupt ending, it's like, that was the freaking worst ending. What was the point of the fucking story? You son of a bitch. You know, those type of stories piss me off. You could have a really good story and end it in a really negative way that just ruins the entire story. It's kind of, I imagine endings are really the most difficult part to write in a story.
じゃあやっぱりそういう方面で模索してみようかな。
Anzu muttered, aren't you confident about taking it that way?
あるっていうか、ないっていうか。
We need closure for this
私と
part.
しては綺麗に終わらせたいだけなんだけど。
Laptop's battery's running a little low. So she doesn't have any particular concern about it? And I think it's best for you to write however you want to. If you start thinking about what's already around, you won't be able to write anything. Anzu gazed into midair and then nodded.
そうね。私が書きたいように書いてみる。
Yeah, I suppose if you think I will write something that has never been written before, you're probably just gonna get frustrated. It's kind of like me when I try to write music sometimes. It's like, but this sounds like something's already been written, damn it. But if you just write what you feel like writing, then just like you'd have it flow much better. Like for example, my story, most of it was kind of inspired by the Fatal Frame series. Because just like, I don't know, that was the main influence, but then it ended up being quite a bit different. I look forward to it.
ありがとう、ヨシユキ。
Anzu smiled. Since Anzu started to concentrate on writing the script, I put my book away and left the library. Good luck, Anzu. Now I can call it a pod, right? I'm embarrassed.
教えてよ。誰にも言わないから。
No, I'm going to go draw some water.
残念。の欲しいものが聞けなかったな。
Are they rehearsing?
私、本当にサンタクロースになれるかしら。お父さんやおじいさんのような立派なサンタクロースに。ほら、弟くん。
Sorry.
まったく、集中できてないよ。
I am. I'm just concentrating on the battery. She said that, but we'd been rehearsing for almost 2 hours. I think we'll go for the rest of this scene in the next part, because really, my battery's running low on this laptop. So I'll see you next time, viewers. See you next time.